Welcome to the unit number 5, distributed web-based systems. In this particular unit number 5, we'll be introducing about World Wide Web. Then we'll be looking at the traditional web-based systems. Then we will see what is proxy caching, multi-tiered architecture, and web server clusters, and then a case study of HTTP and HTTP caching, cache consistency problems, and deployment, various ways of cache deployments, and then content. Like these are the ways in which the cache can be basically deployed. One of the ways is CDN, and what are its challenges. Then example of one of the CDN, how it works, and next topic will be web services, then advantages of web services, the advantages for the e-business using web services, then various terminologies which are being used in web services, then web service model, then fault tolerance challenges, web security issues, and where to secure the web, and exactly in TCP/IP stack, what are the ways in which the TCP/IP stack is being secured. So to start with, we'll look at the introduction about World Wide Web. As everybody knows, the World Wide Web can be viewed as a huge distributed system with millions of clients and servers for accessing linked documents. So servers maintain collection of documents while clients provide users an easy to use interface for presenting and accessing those documents. A document is fetched from a server, transferred to a client, and presented on the screen. To a user, there is conceptually no difference between a document stored locally or in another part of the world. Web has become more than just a simple document based system, and with the emergence of the web services, it is becoming a system of distributed services rather than just documents offered to any user or machine. So, what can we get from the World Wide Web? So, as everybody knows, like we can read the news, listen to music, watch the videos, buy or sell goods like books, airline tickets, making the reservation on hotel room, rental car, restaurant, paying the bills, and transfer the money from one bank to another bank. So, as a traditional web-based systems, it is basically we get the document request. We get the document request. Uh, a client interacts with the web servers through a special application known as the browser. A browser is responsible for properly displaying a document. Also, a browser accepts input from a user mostly by letting the user select a reference to another document, which it then subsequently fetches and displays. The communication between a browser and web server is standardized. They both adhere to the hypertext transfer protocol (HTTP), which generally we'll be discussing as a case study. This leads to this leads to overall organization as shown in this particular figure. So the web has evolved considerably since its introduction. By now, there is a wealth of methods and tools to produce information that can be processed by the web clients and web servers. We'll go into details on how the web acts as a distributed system. However, most of the methods and tools used to construct the web documents have no direct relationship to the distributed nature of the web. Web documents is another example for the same. Fundamentals to the web is that virtually all information comes in the form of a document. The concept of a document is to be taken in its broadest sense. Not only can it contain the plain text, but a document may also include all kinds of dynamic features such as audio, video, animations, and so on. In many cases, special helper applications are needed to make a document come to life. Such interpreters will typically be integrated with a user's browsers. As HTML is one of the hypertext type markup language which allows the embedding other documents like audio, video, uh, players. When activating such link in a browser, the reference documents will be fetched from its associated server. Another increasingly important markup language is XML, Extensible Markup Language, which, as its name suggests, provides much more flexibility in defining what a document should look like. The major difference between HTML and XML is that the latter includes the definition of the elements that mark up a document. In other words, it is a meta markup language. This approach provides a lot of flexibility when it comes to specifying exactly what a document looks like. There is no need to stick to a single model as dictated by a fixed markup language such as HTML. HTML and XML can also include all kinds of tags that refer to embedded documents, that is, references to files that should be included to make a document complete. It can be argued that embedded documents turn a web document into something active, especially when considering that an embedded document can be a complete program that is executed on the fly as part of displaying information. It is not hard to imagine the kind of things that can be done. Each embedded document has associated MIME type. MIME stands for Multipurpose Internet Mail Exchange, as its name suggests, was originally developed to provide information on the content of a message body that was sent as a part of electronic mail. MIME distinguishes various types of message contents. These types are also used in WWW, World Wide Web. But it is noted that standardization is difficult with new data formats showing up almost daily. So MIME makes a distinction between top level types and subtypes. Some, some common top level types are generally being shown as for this particular table. There are various MIME types and common subtypes of the same. So there is a text, image, audio, video, application, and multi-part type. And these are the subtypes of the same. So basically, whenever a special application type that indicates that the document contains data that are related to a specific application. So only that application will be able to transform the document into something that can be understood by a human. The multi-part type document is used for the composite documents, that is, documents that consist of several parts of where each part will again have its own associated top level type. For each top level type, there may be several subtypes available, of which Some of them are being written over here in text. You can see there are various subtypes. In image there are various subtypes. For audio there are various subtypes likewise. So the type of the document is then represented as a combination of top level type and the subtype. For example, application slash PDF over here, application slash PDF is one of the example. So it is expected that a separate application is needed for processing this particular document, which is represented in PDF. So many subtypes are experimental, meaning that a special format is used requiring its own application at the user side basically. So in practice, it is the web server who will provide this application either as a separate program that will run aside a browser or as so-called plugin that can be installed as part of the browser. This changing variety of document types forces browsers to be extensible. Some standardization has been taken place to allow the plugins adhering to certain interfaces to be easily integrated in a browser. When certain types become popular enough, they are often shipped with browsers or their updates. So, next is multi-tiered architecture. The combination of HTML or any other markup language such as XML with scripting provides a powerful means for expressing documents. However, we have hardly discussed where documents are actually being processed and what kind of processing takes place. The World Wide Web started out as a relatively simple two-tiered client-server system, previously shown in the traditional web-based system diagram. So this simple architecture has been extended with numerous components to support the advanced type of documents just now which we have described like PDF, GIF and JPEG likewise. So one of the first enhancements to the basic architecture was support for a simple user interaction by means of a CGI called as termed as Common Gateway Interface or simply termed as CGI. So it defines a standard way by which a web server can execute a program taking user data as input. Usually, user data come from an HTML form. It specifies the program that is to be executed at the sorry, I forgot the diagram. Yeah. Uh, like usually the HTML program is being HTML is the request is being received as a HTML form in HTML form, and it specifies the program that is to be executed at the server side along with the parameter values that are filled in by the user. Once the form has been completed, the program's name and collected parameter values are sent to the server. When the server sees the request, when this when the server sees the request, it starts the program naming the request and passes its parameter values. The program simply does its work and generally return the result in the form of a document that is sent back to the user's browser to be displayed. CGI programs can be sophisticated as a developer wants, can be as sophisticated as a developer wants. So, as shown in this particular figure, many programs operate on a database local to the web server. After processing the data, the program generates HTML document and returns that document to the server. The server will then pass the document to the client. It appears that as if it is asking the CGI program to fetch a document. Server does nothing but delegates the fetching of a document to an external program. Main task of a server used to be handling client request by simply fetching documents. With CGI programs, fetching a document could be delegated in such a way that the server would remain unaware of whether a document had been generated on the fly or actually read from the local file system. However, servers nowadays do much more than just fetching documents. One of the most important enhancements is that servers can also process a document before passing it to the client. In particular, a document may contain a server side script which is executed by the server when the document has been fetched locally. The result of executing a script is sent along with the rest of the document to the client. The script itself is not sent. So, in other words, using a server side script using a server-side script changes a document by essentially replacing the script with the results of its execution. As server-side processing of web documents increasingly requires more flexibility, it should come as no surprise that many websites are now organized as a three-tier architecture consisting of web server, an application server, and a database itself.